I hope you are doing well. I'm very excited for this session and I hope you should be. In this session, we will be explore or develop SQL AI assistant from scratch using Vanna LLM. So this session will help you how you can train your database based on your sample queries. So first of all, what is Vanna? So guys, Vanna is a Python-based AI SQL copilot or assistant, and it is useful for generating and automating writing complex SQL query in couple of seconds. All right. So Vanna excels in SQL writing compared to using ChatGPT or just like a similar tool because we tailor a dedicated Vanna model on your dataset. Okay. So however, the success of Vanna depends upon how you are training the data. Okay. So guys, first of all, let's understand how Vanna LLM works. So first of all, Vanna works in two easy steps. Train a RAG model on your data and then ask questions which will return a SQL statement. Okay. And any vector storage we can use to store the embedding related to the information about the database. Then here it will be generate the query. So guys, let's understand how Vanna LLM model works. So a normal user will ask the query, right, in that database. So in case, let's say, if you have already asked these kind of query in the past in the training data set, based on that, let's say we will be generate the query. So if we discover the question that like yours, then we use correct SQL from those questions for our model. Otherwise, it will pass to the DDL schemas or documentation, okay, or to find out the correct answer. All right, so we can use any prompt, okay, and we will be use any LLM models. All right, and here your SQL query will be execute from your any kind of database. All right, so are you understanding this concept? And once, let's say, it is execute, right? So if we execute the SQL query to verify its accuracy, if the validation is successful, okay, if the validation is successful, the SQL is incorporated into the training dataset. All right. So here you can see that in case you are receiving the correct answer, so that query result you will be incorporated in your training dataset. All right. And once your query is generated successfully, so you will receive lots of information. So first of all, you supply any kind of prompt. Based on that, you will have SQL query and the data frames and the visualization in the form of plotly. Okay, so I'll give you lots of example to understand this kind of flavor. All right, so let's go to the Jupyter notebook. So guys, first of all, what I'm doing, I am going to import the Vanna as VM, and I am going to import, let's say, a load environment, right? So I'm using dot environment and I'm going to import load environment, right? So guys, I have already set a API key, right? So first of all, let's say how you will get the API key. So simple, you can write here Vanna AI, and this is the official web page of the Vanna, right? So where you can, understand, let's Vanna AI write your SQL query for you. Okay, so the fastest way to get the actionable insight from your database just by asking questions. All right. So now let's say you can get start for free. Okay, and you can, supply your email and get started. So once you register your email here, so this Vanna AI platform will share a API key, and that API key you can use it. If you are really interested to understand the blog or some documentation how the Vanna works, so you can understand this. All right. So this is particular guidelines you can see here, right? They are explaining how we are training the data set, how you can ask the query. So first of all, you need to keep in mind only the DDL statement you can write in order to train your data set. All right. So let's understand using an example. So right now I am going to import the OS module. So guys, I have created a .env file where I have saved my API key. Okay. So to get the API key from the environment, so first of all, I have to use load.environment. It is giving me a true, right? Now let's say I have to save my API key. So what I'm doing here, API and key equal to os.get environment. And here, I am going to supply API key. Simple, guys. And now let me show you that API key. Simple. Now what I'm doing here, guys, I am going to set my API key. Okay. Let me set my API key. So my API key is set based on the Vanna. Now I am going to show what kind of models we have, right? Get models. So guys, these are the models we have. All right. So now what I'm doing here, from Vanna and remote, I'm going to import Vanna default. So Vanna model name equal to, let's say if I'm using here, Chinook. All right. Easy. Now VN equal to Vanna default. So Vanna default. And here I am going to supply the model name that is called this one. And here I am using the API key, which I have already set in this variable. Simple guys. Now I am going to connect this database, or I am going to connect this Vanna to the SQLite. So vn dot connect to SQLite. And now let's say HTTPS and Vanna dot AI dot SQLite. Let me check what is the issue. So let me check first of all this spell. Now let me run this. So it's working fine, right? So let me ask some basic query. So vn dot ask, let's say, what are the top 5 artists by sales? All right, now let me run this. It should be vn. So guys, you can see here, right? It is generating a proper SQL query. Okay. I am going to find out what are the top artists by sales. Okay. So they are going to join the 3 tables. And based on that, they are going to give me artist ID, their name and sales. Based on that, using the plotly, they are going to visualizing the chart based on the pandas data frame. All right. Now let me use another model. Let's say Vanna model name, and here the look. And now again vn equal to Vanna default, and now model name equal to Vanna model name, and again API key, same API key I am passing. So guys, right now what I am doing here, I am going to establish this Vanna to my SQL server. So let me launch my SQL Server Management Studio. So first of all, you have to establish the connection between SQL Server and your Python. So I'm going to import the necessary library, let's say pandas, and using the PyODBC. And I need, some warnings, and I need a platform library, guys, by which I can find out my, system names, warnings, and filter warnings, and ignore. Easy. Now let me show you, what does the platform dot node. So using this particular function, I can check what is my SQL server name. So you can see here the server name is desktop and so on and so forth. Let me connect this. All right, let me click on new query. And guys, I'm going to select the database as knowledge hut. Look at this. All right. So first of all, let me set the connection. So connection equal to pyodbc dot connect, and here the driver. So we can check what kind of driver we have. So pyodbc dot drivers. I have already created a dedicated video how we can interact with the SQL server using the pandas and pyodbc. So you can watch this. So here what I'm doing now, guys, let me provide the driver name, and then I'm going to provide the host name. So host equal to again platform.node. And then I am going to provide the database. Database name is knowledge hut, and the trusted connection equal to yes. Let me run this. So guys, the connection is established successfully. All right. Now the main game will begin using the Vanna and MySQL server. All right, guys. So what I'm doing here, let me create a function that is called run SQL. And here I want SQL in the form of a string, and it will be generate the pd dot data frame. All right. So now df equal to pd dot read SQL query, this one, and now SQL and my connection. and then I am going to return my df, right? So this is the simple function I have created. Now vn, which is Vanna run SQL, and here I am passing my function name. And vn dot run SQL again is set equal to true. All right, guys. So guys, right now, let's say what I want to load the entire schema, or you can say that, the table name from the knowledge hut. So this knowledge hut is a database which contains n number of tables. So using the Vanna, I want to load those tables. So df, that is called information schema, equal to vn dot run SQL. And here I am going to writing the statement. Let's say select star from information underscore schema dot columns. Okay, so this is the command by which we can get all the table name from this database. And then guys, I am going to create a variable, let's say plan, and then get plan generic. Okay, and here I am going to pass my variables. Simple, guys. And now I want to read entire data set. Okay, simple. Now guys, I want to read each table from this database. So for table name in plan dot get summary. Now let me run this. So print. So first of all, let's say table name. Let me run this. So guys, you can see here. So database is a knowledge hut and db or dot sales. So these are the tables I have in my database. All right, let me show you here as well. So this is the database. And now let me expand the knowledge hut. And these are the tables. So guys, you can see here, right? Multiple tables. So those tables I have displayed here as well. All right. And now let me, do one thing. Length of, let's say, train on information schema. Okay. And then just slicing concept I am using. Now you can see. All right. Very, very interesting. Now I am going to create a plan. So vn Vanna.train, and then I am going to pass this plan, right? Guys, I am going to pass this plan. So guys, this particular plan I am going to pass to the Vanna. Simple. So guys, as I just mentioned, in the Vanna models, right, or in the Vanna LLM, you can supply the DDL statement. Okay. So DDL statement are powerful because they specify table names, columns name, its type, and some relationship between the tables as well. Okay. So first of all, I am going to add, let's say vn.train, and here you can supply your DDL statement. Okay. Okay, guys. So that's how you can prepare your tables. Now let me run this. Okay. So it is adding this DDL table. All right. So sometime you may want to add documentation. Let's say what is the business or what is the need of this table. So you can add the documentation as well. So I'm adding the documentation. Okay. So how we can do that? So vn.train and simple documentation. Let's say this is designed, you can supply anything to manage employee information. All right. Including details such as personal information. All right. And employment history. Okay. And performance matrix. Okay. You can supply anything, right? So that's how I have added this documentation as well. All right. Now I am going to train from very basic query. Very basic query. Okay, guys. So let's say I'm passing the questions. So for an example, what are the details of employee who have a grade of A? Like this. So this is my questions. Now I am going to supply the SQL statement. So simple select star from employee DB, right? Where grade equal to easy. So guys, similarly, we can train our data set based on multiple queries. So if you will train your LLM models, accordingly, your LLM model will give you the correct result. So I have, some snippet of code. So let me run this one by one. So first of all, let's say I'm asking what is the cumulative distribution of sales for each employee based on their grade and sales performance. And then I'm going to supply this query. All right. And then another query, let's say, right now I am not providing the questions. Look at this. I'm not providing the questions. Directly, I am going to supply the SQL. So automatically the Vanna LLM model will guide you what you have done. So question generated with SQL, what is the cumulative sales of each occupation, order by sales, okay, along with individual sales and grade of the employees. All right. Now, one more thing. And here I am going to, calculate the dense rank, right? So let me run this. So here, what is the rank of employees within each occupation based on their yearly income, guys? And it is also added. Now, at any time, right, you can, check what kind of training data we have, right? So simple training data equal to vn dot get training data. And now I am going to show you that data as well. Simple, guys. All right, easy. If you want to check what kind of columns we have, so we have ID, training type, what kind of query we have already available in that Vanna, and what was the content. So guys, right now, let me ask the query from my database for specific tables. Let me show you. So first of all, let's say I want to read select star from employee DB. All right, guys. And now I want to ask the query from this SQL table using Vanna. So let's say vn dot ask, let's say, can you give me distant occupation from knowledge hut dot db or dot employee db table. Okay. So this is the, my database name and database object. Now let me run this. So guys, you can see here, I can copy this query and I can check here as well. So look at this. I am having the each occupation. All right. And based on that, it is going to visualize as well. Now guys, let me ask other query. So vn dot ask. So read data from knowledge hut DBO and from the same table employee DB. Now let me run this. So guys, select star from database name and table name, and it is reading entire data set. Look at this. Very, very interesting. All right. So guys, right now, let me ask another query. So can you give grade column wise sum of sales from knowledge hut dot db or dot employee db table? Now let me run this. So guys, it is perfectly working fine. Let me copy from here and let me execute this query in my SQL Server editor. So same information, right? 27,024. So similarly, we are having the sales. And based on that, it is going to display the chart as well. All right. Now, guys, let me ask another query. So can you give me occupation-wise sum of yearly income and sales from this table? Now, let me run this. So guys, select occupation, sum of yearly income as total yearly income, and sum of sales as total sales from this table name and the group by occupation. Let me copy or let me run this. So guys, interesting, right? And based on that, I am having this visualization. Easy concept. So guys, sometime let's say you don't want to generate SQL query and its plots, and you don't want to, display the data frame as well. Simple, you want to save this SQL query. Okay. So how we can do that? So I'm going to create a variable SQL script that is called vn dot generate SQL. And now, I am asking the query that is called question, and the same query I am asking, like, simple. Now let me run this. Now I can print this SQL script. So you can see here. All right. And similarly, what you can do, let's say in case you want only the plotly chart. So vn dot generate plotly code only from the same query. Okay, let me copy. And guys, it will give you the plotly code. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me save here the plotly code. And now, okay, spelling mistake, that's fine. So print, and now let me run this. All right, so now it is generating that plotly code as well. Easy, guys. Okay, now look at this. Here I have a sales table as well. So select star from sales table. So I haven't trained this data set, right? I haven't trained my Vanna LLM model based on sales model, sales table. Okay. So let me ask the query and then we'll see what will happen. So vn dot ask. So let's say, can you give unique city from knowledge hut.dbo dot sales table? Let me run this. So guys, you can see now, let me copy here 531, right? So paste, and you can see here I have 531 unique cities. And now let me ask here another query. Let's say vn dot ask, can you give city wise sales from knowledge hut.dbo dot sales table? Okay, and use sales column only. Now let me run this. So guys, you can see, right? And now this is the chart. Okay, interesting, guys, literally. And now let me ask, some summary statistical query. So vn dot ask, so can you perform summary statistic on sales column from knowledge hut database, and the table name is sales table? Let me ask this query. So guys, look at this. Very, very interesting, right? Let me copy and let me paste here. Now let me run this, right? This is the minimum sales, maximum sales, average sales, total sales, and number of records. So we are having this information. Okay, interesting. In case, sometime, let's say we want to, read this data set as well. So you can read this data set into the pandas data frame. All right. Let me ask some more query from the same table. Let's say, can you retrieve the reason category wise total sales from the knowledge hut dbo.sales table? So guys, you can see. All right. Okay. So you can perform, guys, n number of query based on your data set, right? From any of the table from your specific database. Okay. And first of all, you can, it would be great for you if you will train your Vanna LLM models based on your queries or based on your some sample queries. All right. So guys, I hope you found this tutorial very helpful. Do the practice of this session and train Vanna LLM model based on your databases and tables and play with SQL queries. All right. So for now, thanks for watching and have a great day.